Hello! How's everybody doing? Is the sound good? Can you guys hear me? Hello! How's everybody doing today? And let's do a quick sound check. Frank, yeah, all good. Is the music a little bit too loud? Do we need to work on a little bit? Sound is too low, so let's crank it up a little bit. So how about this? Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Sound low. As long as you can hear my voice, that's like the most important part. Let me see if I can turn. We still can preserve a little bit of background sound. It is nice with a little bit of lo-fi now and then, I would say, right? Frank, better. That's good. All right. Or else let me know. Yeah, it's good for you guys. Okay, cool. Or else I'll. Yeah, I'm already maxing out on the gain. Fantastic. Hi everybody. Welcome to the 4 out of 4 bootcamp, and this time around we are looking towards level design. I'm Christian. As you probably have seen me before, I'm the moderator here. Today we were supposed to have Emily in as the moderating. Unfortunately, one of her family members has fallen sick, has been taken to the hospital, so she'll be out there with her. So send some nice thoughts and some hugs and good thoughts on to her. So I'll be commander of the ship alone today, but she will be back, I think, next time around for next Unreal Bootcamp. But yeah, so welcome everybody. First of all, yeah, there might be a little bit of latency going on, so if you ask a question and I haven't responded to it yet, I will try my very best. I got my eye locked on the chat window, so if there's a little bit of a pause before I answer your question, bear with me. We've tried to set up the best sort of latency. But yeah, a little bit about me. Again, Christian. I'm on my 4th semester. We just completed our semester project and we now entered into the exam periods. So now we are currently making our exam assignments that we will be handing in here in 3 weeks time. But hey, gotta hang out with you guys a little bit to show you how to use Unreal. But yeah. If there's any question about the school, maybe my journey into 3D or any sort, do let me know. But yeah, feel free to ask. Also at the same time, what is this level design? So we're not gonna make an Elden Ring today, so don't expect that we'll go into the mechanical of the Unreal Engine. This is more like we do a set dressing. So we're gonna use some cool asset packs where you can create basically whatever you want, and I'll kind of give you the whole crash course on how to use Unreal Engine. And since Unreal Engine is free and these assets that we're about to use is also free, you're more than welcome to make another project. And with that being said, I really hope that you have gone your way to download Unreal 5.3 because it is a little bit of a chunky file size. I think it's about 30 gigs or so. So yeah, it's Jonathan, yes, you can use 5.4. I'm just on 5.3. So I think in the 3D industry, usually what you do is that you take probably maybe a little bit of an older version, but at least that is stable. So if you got 5.4, that's a-okay. You might just have some features that I don't. So if you run into some trouble or something like that, I'll try my best to see. But I haven't been messing around with 5.4 yet. But I think the layout is pretty much the same. I think you just got some cool features added to it. So I think we'll be fine. For those who haven't, I suggest now that you hurry as fast as you can to make sure. Okay, on 96. So don't worry about it because I'll show you quickly on how that we are gonna set up a project for us. So when you start out for the first time, it's probably gonna look like this, and you're probably gonna think, where the hell am I supposed to go? First of all, there is something called your library where all your games will be. For those who I've been accustomed to maybe Steam or EA, or it's kind of familiar. It is basically a launcher where you'll get your hands on Fortnite, if you ever heard of that game. But yeah, this is the place. So you go into Unreal Engine, and you go to your library. Up here, you have something called, you can, there's a little plus icon. You press here, and then you can decide which one you're gonna take. Now, I have a little bit of, I don't know what is happening, but mine is constantly saying, please wait. If you have the same, don't worry about it. There is another way to go about it. But as you can see, I have 5.3.2, so if you haven't downloaded yet, now's the time. I hope you really have a fast internet, because it is quite a big project. So another thing is that the assets that we are going to use, I hope you have a little bit of disk space ready, because it can go quite fast, but I'll show you the best way to optimize, and we can make the smallest project fast as possible. But if you have this kind of issue, then you can kind of just go up here. You can see there is a yellow launch where you can launch that specific engine that you want to use. An Unreal Engine, what the hell is it? So that's basically a 3D software workstation where you can use it for heaps of things. I can show you. So I'm just gonna launch it here, and then you can see pretty much. And by the way, what you're seeing is also what you're gonna see. If you have dual screen monitor, that is highly recommended. But if you don't, I'll be on the same page as you, and I will only use one monitor. So we're both equal. But in here, you can see your recent projects. You have your project location, so if you have more different drives and whatnot, you will go in and find a good spot there. You can see there is games. You can do a first person, you can do a third person, top down. That is very much if you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 as much as me, that will be your preferred. There's also a racing game or a vehicle where you can drive around with a vehicle and you can make your own little track. There's virtual reality, should you have VR headset at home. There's also film. You can do virtual production and DMX. DMX is usually, it's not the hip hop rapper, may rest in peace, of course. But it's basically just for light shows and whatnot. And there's just like heaps. There's also architecture if you want to do archivist, like if you want to create a fast city. And as an architect, you can do that. And there is some photo studio, product configuration. There's loads of things. And then there's also simulation. But yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff that you can do. For this, how are you, Jonathan? Are you verifying still? I'll go easy, but we have to be a little bit efficient here because it's only 90 minutes of bootcamp time, so we'll do our very best. But what you basically will do is you'll go under games. 99, got you. Oh, and by the way, where are you guys tuning in from? Is there any Danes? Is there some from outside of Denmark? And also, I'm now sitting inside a streaming room here. It is hot today, and there is no air condition. So if I start sweating, don't. It's not me that's trying to speedrun this. This is purely because summer has officially arrived in Denmark. Allerød in Sønderjylland, in Sweden. That's cool. Fantastic. That's awesome. So Romanian living in Haslev, and so we got a lot. So we got a lot of Scandinavians in the chat tonight. That's good. Good to see all of you. I hope you're doing well. All right, let's get to it. So when you have this browser open, and we got one from Florida. That's cool. That's cool. I wonder what the time is over in in Florida right now. It's like 6 or is it 7 hours? Like right now it's 5:30 p.m. here. I don't know what the time is. Istanbul. Oh, Lintu, good to see you. Great to see all of you. Oh yeah, so we got a little bit of Americans. We got some Swedes, some Danes. We got some from Istanbul. I mean, what a package. All right, cool. Back to the project here. So. Like I said before, so you open this and you take the blank, you go to games, you choose blank, and we are not going to do ray tracing just to make sure because that needs you to have a graphics card that supports ray tracing. I think it's RTX cards, I think it's from the 30 series or it's a 20 series, not too sure about it, but leave it out because we're not really going to take some time. 11, oof. Early riser, Timothy. glad to have you in the stream. So we're gonna choose blueprints. We're gonna do desktop. You can also do mobile. That is like the crazy. You can also do mobile games with Unreal Engine. Quality preset. Let's just do maximum. There's nothing happening, and then you do you uncheck the starter content, and if ray tracing is enabled, you disable that as well. Gilthrang, thank you. It is the 30 series, so if you don't have it, don't even bother, and I'm not gonna do it either. Then we do a project name, and I am gonna call mine, I want to do an Enchanted Forest. Enchanted Forest. And I do what is called Pascal casing. There is different ways of doing it where you don't do any space between the words. I can go into that so much, but that will be for another time. And when you're done, you're just gonna press create, and now your computer is gonna do a whole bunch of things. Here is the kicker. For you guys, you might gonna have to do what is called compile shaders for the first time. So we're just gonna take some time while you guys get that, because it is a little bit of taxing on your computer for that. So I'm just gonna buy yourself some time for the next, just so make sure that everybody has done it, because it is like a first time thing that it needs to do when it's setting up. I have heard that from 5.4 that it's become a little bit more fast, but so in the meantime, while that is doing, I can just show you a quick thing that what you can do with Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is something that you're being taught here at CADA. The first time you will be introduced to it is for your game project, where you will be assigned 8 weeks to make a walking simulator. It's like going from point A to B, where you will create all your assets from in another 3D software, usually Maya or Blender. You'll texture it in Substance Painter. You will then rig your characters, do animation where you do like, the walking cycle or whatnot if you are into animations and whatnot. And basically you then build the whole game from the ground up. And that's basically what you're using here. You're using Unreal Engine to run that, because you can package the game afterwards. And you're then being tasked for 8 weeks. Before that, you get 2 weeks of introduction to Unreal, where you get from Monday through Friday, where you'll be taught how to use it. So I'll try and wrap that up as fast as possible here for you guys. But basically what we were then tasked is this first week we should do an exterior scene. That is basically what we're going to do today, where I will be showing you something called Quixel. Quixel is a built-in plugin for Unreal Engine, where you will be getting a asset library of around, I think, 15,000 different assets, and that's basically just scans of realistic objects. So that's that, and there's heaps of crazy things to choose from. You can choose from floral to whatnot, and yada yada yada. Now that was our first week. We did the exterior. Then the week after, we then got an interior shot, and I will just show you what I made in the span of 5 days. At that time, I was watching heavily Last of Us, so you might gonna see some strong inspiration from there. And this was what I came up with. So this is a combination of 2 free asset packs, which is something called Abandoned Apartments, and there is a Subway pack as well. Both of them are for free. And basically what I went in is that I took the metro and I just bombarded it with, basically just covered the floor with foliage. I messed around with the textures and whatnot to really give that kind of just like overgrown feel. So you can see there's a little bit of a gun over here and a little bit of and over here, because Ellie, if you've ever been playing Last of Us, she plays the guitar, so I placed that here. Then a little kitchen station here. So basically that was what you can do in 5 days when you're really just like put yourself to work. So but yeah, so there is crazy amount of stuff that you can do in Unreal Engine. The sky is literally the limit. There is a point where things become what you say, purchased, or where they have a price. And basically when you go into there we go. I'm just gonna open up Epic Games launcher. I'm just gonna show you real quick. So you go into the marketplace. Marketplace is basically the place where you're gonna find all the stuff that you want to work with. So you can see some stuff costs money, but if you go down here, there's something called free for the month. And there's already assets here for you to choose from. And these are free as we speak, so you, dear viewers, you can actually go in and just get these right now. And I can do it real quick. I think. Yeah, so there is, this month, there's roughly around $500 worth of just free assets. There's modular sci-fi dome, Tokyo stylist environment, advanced flock system, replicated grab system. So there's a bunch of things you can get from here, and there's also a 6 bundle maps. But yeah, there's also this little nice thing called free, and in here you can just like get yourself, you know, whatever you like. You want some trees, you want like some assets as well. This is your place to go. Okay. Question for the viewers. How long are you with compiling shaders? Are you slowly getting there? Where are we? Just so we can do a little bit of a sanity check here before I proceed with how to use this lovely little thing called Unreal Engine. Also, maybe I can go in. Nope. Still installing. 45. Okay, we're just gonna 45. Cool. All done. Question, is the free stuff free to release in a game and so on? Okay, Jonathan, for you, just to quickly go back, so basically what you do is you go in and you claim it. You don't need to have a credit card attached. I've never had a credit card attached to mine. You basically just go in. Oh, by the way, I have to tell you this, is that their launcher is not the greatest, I would say. But you go into the marketplace. As you can see, it's slow. We do have some quite beefy computers here at the school, so yeah, it is. It's not the greatest, but yeah, you can. What happens when the month is over with the free stuff? Oh, Rolf Nielsen, I'm glad that you asked that. You're gonna get you basically gonna keep it. This is all this stuff here is something that has been free of the month that I've just claimed throughout the years here at the school. And when the month is over, a new package is dropped and a new free of the month is being, and you get to keep all this forever. So yeah, it is just good practice, just checking in once a month, see what is in there. Might not gonna be something for you, but at least just get it, because you never know. You might gonna, at one point, you're gonna feel like, cool, I want myself to get myself ship. Yeah. So there is heaps of stuff that you can get in there. So you get to keep it. There's nothing like you only get it for the month. It's just you have to make sure that you log in. You don't. It's not being automatically added to you, so you have to go manually in every month. Just get it and then do a little bit of a checkout. Does all Rolf Nielsen is asking, does all the marketplace stuff work together glitch-wise? Actually, yeah. So the thing is that when you then add the whole thing to your library, you can then go in and add these things to your project. So that means that if you want to have, let's say, a stylized, so you got a package with some castle assets or something like that, but then you also have like, let's say, you have some guns, futuristic sci-fi guns. You can add those two things seamlessly into it. The only thing you just have to make sure, usually assets is supported for all the engine versions, but when it comes to the more mechanical parts, so let's say you want to add like some sort of gameplay mechanic into it, you have to make sure that it supports your current version, or else it's going to give you a little bit of a hassle. But these people who are making these assets and these things in here is quite good at just like making sure they're updated and whatnot. So yeah, it should be fine. But they work seamlessly together, and you can easily access them inside the folder. So that should be fine. But yeah. But once again, should you want to, God, Unreal Engine. So yeah, you can see, you can download, and so so the showcase is like the place where you want to buy stuff. So you can see there's modular, brutalist levelscapes, there is animations, there is biomes, there is whatnot, and then down here there's something called free for the month, or you can find it also up here, free for the month, and then you just go in and grab it. There's also like these all kind of crazy stuff in here. So yeah, there's plenty of options. Now, so yeah, so when you do that, so, and also when you then make something, you can then add the thing to a project. So let's say I want to Let's see. What do I want to add? I think also I want to go a little. Let me take something here. So yeah, so usually they also do these like insane like bundles. So where it's just like, here, there you go. Here's 150 assets for you to use, and then it's just like go crazy. And you can just make. So here I got something called Dreamscape Stylized Environment. I can just. Well, that wasn't nice. Huh. Well, that's boring. Oh well. But then usually you can just like add the whole thing to the project or whatnot. I don't really know what the reason is behind this, but yeah, take it as it is. But yeah, so I'll slowly just like, to those who already have Unreal Engine open right now and into this scene, I'm just gonna give these like a slowly a little bit of how would you say, a little bit of an introduction, so to say. So this is your this is the viewport. Out here on the left is the outliner. If you remember from the Blender classes, that's where you basically see everything that is been added into the scene or to the project. So yeah, it's basically to show you what is in the scene, what can I change of kind of the settings and whatnot. This will also be the where you're gonna find the assets that you have added on to the into the scene itself. So to navigate, so you can see I'm like clicking and nothing isn't really happening. By holding down your right mouse button, that is the one that kind of helps you to navigate. So you're gonna look up and you can look down, you can look left and you can look right. For the gamers, this is gonna be quite easy for you. You're using the WASD, W to move forward, S to move backward, A to move to the left, and D move to the right. You can see it goes super slow, and you're thinking, God, am I really gonna have to work with this? No, because when you're holding down the right, oh, and by the way, you need to hold down, I think, yeah, you need to hold down the right button in order to enable the movement controllers, so the W, A, S, and D. But it's moving very slow. So while you're holding down your right button, you're gonna then start scrolling forwards on your middle mouse if you have that. That's gonna increase the speed. So now you can see, oh, we just activated the nitro, and now we can fly around the scene. This is also just like the default set. Nothing to. This is just like Tatooine or Dune, if you have seen the latest Dune movie, Lisan Al-Gaib. But just like get comfortable with this, and if it goes a little bit too fast, just again while holding down your right button, start scrolling on the middle mouse button. If you don't have a middle mouse button, do not worry, because up here, up in the right corner, there's going to be this little camera speed, and you can then change it on the fly if you're working on a laptop or don't have a middle mouse button. So that one can just like help you out. So you can just go in, change the speed to, let's say, 16. God, it's gonna go fast. Yeah. So now you can just like, to those who are already in their scene, I want you just like to get a little bit comfortable, just like kind of move around, just like to get a feeling of how the navigation works. You can see here, while I'm like moving around, I'm also using the middle mouse button just to drag, scrolling back and forward to get the feeling of the speed, right? So yeah, so that's that. And as well, while you're holding your right mouse button down, you can use Q to what do you call it? Decrease yourself in height, and you can also then press E to gain some. So that kind of helpful, so you don't have to like scoot yourself out. So if you're looking at something like right here, you're just like, I need to get a better view or something like that. I can just like, oh, you can use these two to elevate the scene. Does that make sense so far? I sure hope so. And now you can see that right now I'm just like pressing the different. This is just with the left mouse button. This is the different things. The yellow outline is pretty much just marking where you are to what you're basically what you've been pressing on and what you can do about it. So, and you can actually see out here in the outliner, it is changing as well. You can see that it's showing you exactly what kind of asset or what kind of mesh that you're holding on to. You can see as it like changes around, it is highlighting. And then I can toggle the invisibility. Whoop, go on with it. Whoop, and here it is. So, but if you want to build out something from this, you're more than welcome. This is, you know, the kind of the default. This is no matter what Unreal Engine that you're using, you will be greeted by this landscape. For this one, I kind of want to do something a little bit more advanced, or not advanced, but there's something that I like to do. So down here, this is your content browser. This is basically where everything is going to be located of your, or of all your assets. It doesn't mean that they are inside the scene, they're just ready. Imagine it as a shelf, that's where you can pick, you know, let's say a vehicle if you have that inside your scene, or you have a sword, or you have a tree, or something like that. That is just where you're picking it without it actually being inside the scene. When it then goes out to the scene, that's where you then will see it in the outliner, which means that this is now live and now has been implemented directly and is now inside the 3D realm that you're now using. But your content browser is going to be your best friends. Some people actually like to work without the content browser, so I just removed that one. Don't be frightened. So this is also quite nice because now we have a little bit more real estate, and this is really just like, you know, so you really can see what's going on. If you want to get it back and you're kind of like panicking, I want you to hit Control Spacebar. That is then going to show it here, and then you can pretty much just, there are some people who really like to work like this, where it's like da -da 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 -da, and then there's this, alright, and then remove it again so they have as much as they want to. Now if you want to get it back and just like keep it just for good, there is, I'm just gonna hide myself for a hot minute. There is down here something called Dock in Layout. Dock in Layout means that it just like, it gets right back to it, and now it's just been welded back to it, so now it's not gonna move anywhere whatsoever. But in here, we have, you can drop your file, so if you have already assets, let's say you model something in Blender, you've textured it, and now you want it into, this is usually where we go. You can like add stuff. So we'll do add, and we're gonna do a level. I'm gonna call that the Enchanted Forest. And now you can see that this is here. This is like a new level. So imagine, so if you're playing an RPG and you want to have like, let's say an exterior, you have like the open world, and now you want to have an interior. Let's say you want to go into the tavern, or you want to go to the blacksmith, and there have like, this is usually where you would do it. So you make these individual levels, and then you would combine them at the very end. So let's say open world then connects to that blacksmith, then it will enter that world. That is usually how Unreal Engine is working. So when we now have this created, and you can name it whatever you want to, because like I said, the asset store, the world is your oyster, so we can just go absolutely crazy. When you go in, you're just going to press save selected. It's just to make sure that nothing is left behind when we enter new worlds. And everything goes like. Ta-da! And now you're probably thinking, Christian, what the hell? You just made me create a dark world and that's it? And I'll say, you goddamn right, thank you for today. Nah, I'm kidding with you. I'm kidding. What is basically happening is that we've now completely just started from scratch. Imagine this as your canvas. Nothing has been added to the worlds. That means that also there's no light. And in order to do so, we're gonna go up here. I believe the camera is right in front of it. I believe it is called Tool. I can't see anything. I'm sorry. It's because like the webcam is like right in front. So, but yeah, it's just like right underneath, so I can't really see the toolbar up here. But you're gonna go to Window, and you have a little bit of a drop down. There's something called Environment Light Mixer. You're gonna press that. This is gonna opt you with a new pop-up window, and that's, you can see you have these five things that you can choose. And let me just narrow it down a little bit so you can see what is happening. So first of all, I'm gonna create the skylight. Nothing is happening. Now I'm gonna create the atmospheric light. Nothing is still happening, but then I'm gonna create the sky atmosphere. I'm gonna create the volumetric clouds, and I'm gonna create the height fog. And Bam. Now we are what I would say in heaven. Yeah, so that's pretty much what's up right now. And since again we're starting with a complete blank canvas, so there's no ground or whatever. So let's say you've maybe been building cool. You might have been using something to generate, like, let's say, a height map, or you've already pre-made the ground that you will be walking on. Then you could import that into the scene itself. But that is not the case today. We are gonna do something else. And if I remember correctly, just to need to make sure. How's everybody doing as well? Are you guys all right? Are you following along, or should we slow? Oh, and by the way, please let me know if I'm going a little bit too fast here, and I will happily do something again or redo the whole thing. Should you need should you need a little bit of a refresher and whatnot. So again, good so far. Braden, Canvas, that's good. Jonathan, keep it up. Well, thank you very much. So if you go to, and I believe that is, that's a good one. Yeah, the build tab. There is something called build landscape. Oh, wait, hold on. Huh. Nope. That's not doing it. Just give me a second here, guys. Just to make sure everything is working up to par here. Give me a second. I should just... Oh, yes, I am sorry. There's something that just like changed out a little bit. So, here we go. So, up here where you can see your map name, you can see there's something called selection mode. There's different modes that we can use. What we're gonna use is called landscape. Short key is Shift 2. I will not be using too many short keys today, or shortcuts and short... what do you call it? Short keys? I think so. Hotkeys. Something like that. Just to make sure that just everybody can see what is happening on the screen. So there's something called landscape. And this is kind of just like showing you the blueprint of what Unreal will create then. You have different options. There is a called scale down here. There's rotation and location, whatnot. Keep those in 0. You can also import from file here. So let's say, like we talked about earlier, should you have already created a landscape in another 3D program, that will be the good place to go here. So here we are then going to go down. We can see that the scale is 100, 100, 100. I would say for this sake, you can. But if you want to go full Minecraft on it, or you want to recreate World of Warcraft, there's something called Fill World. But it is absolutely the most taxing, because that means that Unreal will just keep on going, and it's going to create this insanely huge landscape and can be very taxing on lower end PCs. So just for this time around, I'm just going to do 100 and 100 and 100. You're more than welcome to throw in a 0 behind it. But I would say, let's get comfortable with like a little bit of a smaller world. I would say start in the shallow end of the pool. And don't go jump from, 100 meter high, 100 feet high cliff. Then you, see. Now you can just see how it looks if it's gonna fill the world. We do not want that, so we do not want fill world. We do not want the fill world. We just want this, this, and this. Yeah, so that is a good one. Then you press create, and now you can see that our dear and wonderful Unreal has created us a little bit of a playground to play with. Now, what then happens is that when you have created your worlds, your landscape, it's basically flat, and it will then go over to the next category called sculpting. And sculpting here is where you make the terrain. That will be like your rolling hills, your mountains, and whatnot. And these can and there are a few things that we can do. So I'm just gonna get in a little bit close just to show you guys what that means. Let's see here. Sculpt. I'm gonna do a little bit of a bigger, just like to show you. And there you go. Haha. Would you look at that, huh? And then it's just like pretty much just brushing away. There's also the tool strength. Do be a little bit, do be advised if you keep a sharp tool strength. You can see, it's gonna go quite fast. I'm usually one of those. I like to go in the small end and just like kind of just like slowly build on it. I will try and be as fast as possible today to just kind of just to give you guys the feeling. Brush eyes should be okay, I guess. It really depends on what you're aiming for. One thing that you do learn here at CADA is reference is king. So usually you will have gathered some reference, or you're not just like going off of the top of your head. That's what I'm doing right now. Don't tell my don't tell my teacher. But yeah, right now I'm just pretty much freestyling and whatnot. Don't be afraid of these like shadows. It's just Unreal being a little bit silly. But it usually also can be a clear indicator that you might have either too sharp edges, and by doing so, we can then go in and find the smooth. And smooth is, if you were attending the ZBrush class, if you remember, you used the clay build-up tool, and then you would use the smooth to kind of like smooth it out, so it just like became a little bit more even surface. That is the same procedure here, is that you'll just like hold in, it's just slowly going over. And basically what now Unreal is doing, it is trying to smooth out and making the mesh a little bit more smooth. It's kind of in the name. So yeah, so you can basically just go in and just have a little bit of fun, go a little bit of a Bob Ross up in this one, and just really just take your time out. Again, remember, if you're really going hard on the tool, basically what Unreal will try and do is just flatten it out at the very end. So if I'm going absolutely bonanza on the tool strength, you will see that it's pretty much trying to flatten out and trying to make it as even as possible. That might be not your taste, so do try and keep the tool strength down where you're smoothing. But now you can just like go back and forth and just like kind of just like, alright, I want like some rolling hills here, maybe something there, da, 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 da. And that is great, and happy days and whatnot. Am I gonna just do? Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm just gonna do some rolling hills here today. I'm a little bit uncertain because I can see that my Unreal Engine is a little bit buggy. I don't know what the hell is going on, so I'm just going to try and show you in the best way, especially when I try to add the previous project, but don't you worry, we will figure it out. But yeah, I will use the smooth tool again. You can also see that the shadows become a little bit more, and that's just because there's not that harsh hills that is going against the sun. So yeah. I believe that I'm slowly getting there. I think that will be very nice. So if I'm now looking from here, I think this is great. And I can't see, and that's also one of the things that is quite smart. When you're doing these like kind of small ones, it's quite smart to maybe have some hills that is like kind of enveloping, so you can't see the end of the map. That's usually, if you ever been having a glitch in your game, you suddenly end up on the wrong side or you go out of bounds. So for aesthetic wise, I would say try and do a little bit of hills to kind of cheat the eye, so it looks like it's gonna keep on going. But when you're happy and you're finished, oh, this is perfect. This is what you're like looking at right now. You're just thinking, just like, oh, don't worry. It's basically just Unreal Engine trying to refresh, and then it's having a little bit of a glitch out. It is a game engine after all, but it's basically just to move around a little bit, and it usually disappears. So. Yes. And now we're back to selection mode. And that was shift 1. So now we're in here, and now it's happy days. And now I'm going to create myself a folder. That's what I would like to call assets, where I just know where I can find my stuff. And now I would like to show you the Quixel Bridge. Quixel Bridge is your one-stop shop to gain access to all these amazing assets and files and whatnots. You have to log in one more time. I'm just going to make sure that everything runs by the book. You're basically just going to use the same email address for that you logged in for Unreal Engine. And that is because the Quixel Bridge back in the days used to be a third-party software where you would then integrate it over. And that resulted in that Unreal really thought, just like, oh, this is actually quite genius. Let's actually set this up so it becomes integrated, and now you just have this. You have so many things. You can see we have services, we have 3D models from urban street paved stone to you name it. We have plans, we have junkyard, we have Medieval banquet. So you want to make yourself a banquet, you can get yourself lamb ribs, smoked sausage, or pork pie that has been taken a bite of. And this is how do you say? Quixel is going out and then doing like these, and how they basically proceed with this is that they go out and they take an asset and they take hundreds of photos around it and then 3D project mapping it inside, and then becomes like an asset. How did you enter that place again? Rolf is asking. Not to worry. So how I entered that place? Do you mean the level or the Quixel? Just like to gain access to the assets. Oh, what's here? God, yes. The assets. Well, I'm glad that you asked. So you go up here, there's this little thing called quickly add to the project, right up here, right next to the selection mode. You go up here and you can see there is get content, there's import content, and then there's Quixel Bridge. That's where you want to go. Quixel Bridge. And then you will be greeted with this home menu, and it's might gonna ask you to, and just to make sure, you just click on this little icon up here to make sure that you've downloaded and whatnot. And that's it. And now it's just have at it. You can see there is everything from buildings to food, historical, Cambodian, feudal, Japan, medieval, Roman Empire, the Wild West if you want to create yourself. The world is your oyster at this point, and all of this is free. So really just like go at it. It's just really just let's I wanna make an old, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm gonna sign in again. Wow, ain't you a sweetheart? Yeah, so this is actually usually what you're going for here. I think it should... Yeah, there we go. Now, important thing then when you start out downloading these assets, because you will be tanking the living soul out of your hard drive if you're not being careful here. Because down here there is different qualities. I would say for you as a starter, do not go higher than medium quality. High quality and nanite is like 4K, 8K, and it will go so fast filling up your hard disk when you know, then you're gonna add some brushes, you're gonna get some trees, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do that, and it is just insane the amount of what is basically happening. So I would say do not go higher than medium quality. Nanite, it requires a specific directs. I think it's 12. There is some certain, so just keep yourself within medium quality unless you got a NASA computer. You can go ahead and use high quality. So I've taken medium quality. I'm then gonna press download, and now I'm now sending a request to Quixel Bridge that I want to have this asset. And then you can see that it's been downloaded, and now I'm gonna press add. And then something happened down here. You can see now in the assets, we have this called mega scans. And these are now showing you old gravestone. And this is basically just to show you. Oh, can you up the quality in a project later on, or do you have to stick with whatever your quality you download? You can always go in, I believe, and just, I'm not too sure about if you can go in and update the mesh or the quality on the fly. But what you can do is basically just go in and say, hey, I downloaded it in a medium quality, now I want to download it in high quality. I haven't tested that out, so Rolf, do let me know. We can always try it out later, here out. But now I'm just going to show you quickly on how to use these things. But there you can see that we have the asset down here. We have the smart material, which basically is the texture that is being added onto, and then being wrapped onto the asset itself. So when I do this and I take this out, did you see that? And now we have it. There's a gravestone. Also press F to focus. So let's say that like I am out here and I'm just like, I don't want to go all the way. I'm just pressing F. It's gonna zoom right into it. So that's like a really good way of yeah, just look at this quality, right? You can even see there's like some what do you call it, parallax effect. So it looks like, you know, there's a, oh my god, yeah, it is. So you can definitely see, and these are just like some solid quality, right? So, you know, this is medium quality, right? So low quality will even suffice. So high quality, god, I don't even know. So, sorry, where did you press? Was it subscribe? Yes. So first you do you subscribe just, and it might gonna ask you to say just like, hey, you need to pay for it. If that's the case, just close it down and maybe just restart Unreal Engine, because Quixel Bridge is free and will forever be free for you to use. So if it starts acting up all weird, it might just have not gotten clearly understanding, but it should be as a free thing. So if all hell breaks loose, close down the Unreal your Unreal. Just remember to save, close it down, and open it again. And I think Quixel Bricks would now have understood that you are just a regular user. So Quixel Bridge. The next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna populate the ground around us, and that I believe is important, because or else we're just gonna look at a checkered, untextured, not that great looking, and what I mean by the checkered, this is like, you know, the default, like nothing has been assigned to me yet of texture, and we definitely don't want to do that. Oh, not that. Did I just close it out? Oh, there it is. So here in home menu, you can also get like these surfaces, and you can choose. There is some, like, do you want desert? Do you want dirt? Do you want? There is a lot of stuff in here. You can see some of them I've already added to the so you can see there's a little checker mark. So that's also to make sure that, let's say that you've downloaded a certain texture for one project, it's still going to be saved, and you can then add it again onto your to another project of your desire. Yeah, you can see there's so many things. Everything. I think is that birch, Nordic forest detail moss, Nordic forest detail bark. There is so many things in here. Like you can just this is like also one of those like nice things you could do on the weekend. It's kind of just like, oh, I want to create something cool, but I'm not really sure. You can just like go in and just like absolutely go full on Picasso with this. So yeah. So I might just, ooh, I'm feeling a little bit horror today, maybe. So let me see here. Swamp soil or forest molds. And by the way, what I'm doing right here is up to me. If you want to do an urban scene, you want to do a forest, you want to do a field, you want to make a graveyard, you do whatever you like. You can just go right at it. I feel like this is a very good one. I think that's looking cool. I will do medium quality. I will then press download, and that's gonna do its thing. You can see that it's now downloading the whole project. And I'm gonna say add, and I believe that will then have done the trick. Yes, there we go. Now we have the landscape here, and that is very important. So when you've done your landscape and you are more than happy about it, now we want to apply that material that we've now decided to use. What we then do is that we find that texture that we just downloaded, and when I start to drag it, do you see? I'm just gonna hide my camera. Down here, I want you to notice something, especially something called landscape material. When I start moving this one here, it's gonna light up. That means that this is like a socket. So if I now press this and let it go, woof, there we go. And now you can see that it is tile, so it's not looking pretty right now, and that is because has been changed. That is because of the UV, and UV is the tiling, or the UV is like where the cuts are. I believe that Emily talked to you about it last week for the Blender texturing class, so we can go in and change that. What you then do, if you want to change this up a little bit, I believe that you can open this one up. Yes. And now what is happening is that now we're opening and kind of start to understanding. This is like opening the engine of the car. Kind of see what's going on in here. And this you can pretty much do with everything when you're in the content browser. You can pretty much just understand what's going on here, right? So you can definitely see there is some. Yeah, you can see the detail, and you just look at it. I mean, this is like medium quality, and I would say this is more than sufficeable. To rotate around, you just hold down your left button, and you just like rotate around. What I want to is that I'm just gonna have this one open here. And this is like where it's really nice to have dual screen monitors, because what you can do is that you can just have this one here on the on one monitor, and then you will have the entire world here. But I will meet you in the middle, and we'll play this fair and square. So I will do this as we're here, as we only had one monitor. You want to go up here to what's called global. Let me just open this for a good measure. There's something called tiling and offset. You need to enable that, and there's a little bit of a drop down here on the global. There we got the tiling, and tiling is basically just like how are we gonna repeat the pattern around, and this is what is called a seamless texture. That means that it is following it around. You cannot see the cut where it is, and that means that you can tile upon it, so you can just extend it out as much as you like. So by doing so, I would say a good starting point, as we're looking out here, I'm gonna set this to 0.01, 0.01. And would you look at that? Now that has become a little bit better. You can still, unfortunately, see, if you look close enough, if you can see like how it's repeating itself across that way. But that we shouldn't be too concerned about, because we're gonna populate the floor with grass and whatnot. So maybe we're gonna break that, that line of sight to that extent. When you're happy with it, you feel like you've hit a good spot here, you can also try something else. We can maybe do 0.01, 0.01. Oh, it's really important to make sure that you're at, bam, 0.01 seems to do the trick. So now you can really see like how it's getting in. And this is looking pretty damn alright. So yeah, you can see from up here, you can definitely see how it's tiling, but down from here, you can get away with it. Maybe if you ever play World of Warcraft, like when you're running around, just like as your player character, you can start to see these tileable things, especially when you're on a flying mount. I don't know if there's any World of Warcraft players here, but when you're flying up high, you can definitely see just like how these like textures just like been placed just right after each other, and that's basically the trick also we're doing here. Now we're just like making sure that we're just like scaling it down so it really looks like it's just not that uniform across the way. So yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much how you now lay this out. So now you've understood how to open up Unreal Engine, how to make your own level. Now you've also learned how to create the lights inside, how to create the worlds, how to landscape it, and how to apply texture, and now gained access to the asset store, and as well apply a material to. But yeah, you'll probably notice something, that this is really tiny, and that is because this is just from its default setting. If you want to move around with this one, there's a few keys that I need you to remind of. Apply again? Sorry? Jonathan? What kind of do you want to apply again? Do you want to see how to add the landscape material once again? Yeah. Gotcha. Well, let's just let's find another one, and I'm just gonna show you it one more time. Gotcha. All right, I'm just gonna take this. This is called Swamp Soil. I'm just gonna take it from the top just to make sure everybody's with me. So we're gonna press downloading. You're gonna do add to the project. We're gonna minimize this, and we can now see this has been applied. We're gonna make sure that we have clicked on the landscape, and as you can see down here, now when we find the land, this is called a smart material instance. When I start moving this around, sorry, I'm just gonna remove my camera again. When you start moving around, you're gonna see that the socket over here called landscape material is now highlighted, and that means that this can be applied here. You're gonna drop it onto this, and now you've successfully applied your texture. Then, after this, you want to find that material instance because it is tiling very ugly, because you can see that it has been absolutely multiplied beyond a million times. So you want to open your material instance. You want to go here, You want to find, when you open this, you want to find called global. You want to enable that, and it's probably been hiding here, so you're going to find a drop down menu, and this value says 0.1, and you want to do 0.01. Next line again, 0.01. Enter, and you're gonna save that, and now it's been applied. Haha. So I hope that was pretty good. I hope you understood that, or else I'll gladly do it one more time. But we are running a little bit out of time here because there is 35 minutes. I'm like locked into my landscape and can't get out. I cannot highlight anything else. Now do I highlight, for example, an asset I have to put in. So if you're locked into your landscape and you can't get out, it's probably because you are stuck inside of this mode here. You just have to, very welcome Jonathan, you want to go up here back to landscape mode and do selection. That gets you out of the landscape mode and get you back to just have the more free reign. That should be the fix that you are looking for, Rolf. You're very welcome. That was it. Gotcha. I'm just gonna take myself because it is boiling in here. Cool. So, this little cemetery here, or this little graveyard stone, it's looking a little bit small, doesn't it? So there's a few things how we can manipulate. Hello, Clarissa. Good to see you. What up? So, now we have this graveyard asset, and it's looking incredibly small, and we maybe want to either move it, we want to rotate it, or we want to increase it in size. And here is a few keys that I want you to remember. Pressing W, that is your move. That is the one that is like making it moving across the X, Y, and Z axis. So this is like if you're not satisfied with the placement, you can move it, let's say over here, maybe a little bit down, or something like that. Press moving a little bit too fast here. Oh, all right. Let me just slow down a little bit here. So W was to move. Press E, E as in Eric, to rotate your asset, also on the X, Y, and Z axis. So if you want to add a little bit of like a crooked angle, or if you want to move it a little bit more forward, that is what you do here. And R is the scale tool, and this is one is a little bit tricky, and you might need to hold on here. You can see there is a blue, there is a green, and there's a red, and that means like what way we want to stretch. So if I want like a thick tombstone, you could do that, or if you want a tall one, you can also do it in that way, and you can also just give it a little bit of make it a little bit more girthy, you can do it that way. But there is a little bit of secret one. That white little box that you see in there, that is the uniform scale tool. So by doing that one, it is going to uniform, just increase its size on all axes and making sure that it is preserving its original shape while you're still managing to increase it into size. And then you can just absolutely have at it. And that is your way, so you can definitely just like go around, mess around with it a little bit. Just maybe so it looks like it almost has been sunken into the very earth. And if you're a little bit annoyed by the snappiness, you can see there it's almost like going in increments. That is because of some few settings that is default. I don't know why it is at the default, but that is Unreal that it does. That will be up here. There's these there's something called snapping. So, and there's also snap, that is, I believe that will be the rotation. You can disable it, and now you can see that it's going, if I believe it's correct, that it should now be just smooth, and you just like have a little more. Should you then want to get it back, you can do like these in certain like degrees, so you can do in 45 angles to make sure it's just like everything is uniform to that. So whenever you manipulate an object or more objects, you know that everything is now being ruled by the 45-degree rule. And you can go absolutely bonanza afterwards. I believe this is yeah, that is the whole dragging. I believe you can also increase that as well. So yeah, now you can see that it is moving with the incremental of 5. I'm usually just like not really. I really like to just have as much freedom as possible, but yeah, leave that information to you as you like. So that is like how you now know how to manipulate around. So now you can just really go in and just be like, I want another one, so I'm just gonna drag one over here. I want to increase that in size and whatnot, so we're gonna have 2 big ones over here. That is the way to do it. And now it's just basically for you to go into Quixel, find the stuff that you like for your assets and whatnot, and then you can add on to it. Now, I would like to see... Oh, let me just also show you one thing. Control-C is to undo. So if ever something is messed up, let's say that I maybe increased it in too big of a size and I want to go back. It is the uniform undo. It is Control-C to make sure. If you don't want something in your scene and you want it either not to be shown for a little bit of while, like I showed you before, you can either do the hide so you can't see it. I pressed X on the details tab and now I don't know how to get on the details tab. Where do you find your details tab? I'm curious where you found that. Do give me a shout on where you found the details tab, and I will gladly try to get you back on track. All right, we got a half an hour left of the bootcamp. Now we'd like to show you something called foliage to the right. Oh, you're in here, and you pressed X in here? So it like, on the outline, okay, never mind. I mean, it should just try and maybe hit on some of the stuff, or else Control-C is your buddy here. If it's one asset that is causing you trouble or something like that, you should be fine just like kind of either just deleting it. And also, by deleting, there's 2 ways. So either you can temporarily hide something. It is still now in the scene, but it's just hidden. Or you can just press the delete, and then it's out of here. Now, I would like to show you the next cool thing, and that is the foliage. But first, I'm gonna have to see if I can... What do I... Did you really just do that to me, man? Let's see if it's gonna play nice this time around, because I do want to add some pretty cool forest. Add to project. Yeah. I'm a little bit scared that I cannot show you the cool way to show you how to add a... See, Unreal Engine can be a little bit... I could go back and show you... So I'll try this in another way. I'm gonna show you the way of how to use Foliage Painter, but I will then... I removed the details. Don't mind me. Cool, Rolf. I'm glad you found out. I'm gonna show you now how to use the Foliage Painter, and Foliage Painter is where you add certain amount of assets and then you use it as a brush. So that means that you can now then create, let's say if you decide to take some trees, then you can just absolutely just like paint it with one brush stroke and just place an immense amount of assets by guiding it with a brush. So we're going to Quixel Bridge. I'm just gonna find something. I'm just gonna show you the way of how to use it. And yeah, we can use Greater Burdock. Let's get that in. I'm gonna get that as well. And I'm just gonna show you it in that manner of just like how stuff can look and how you can use multiple instances of assets and use that for the Foliage Painter. Yeah, I think this would be fine, I guess. I mean, it's free. And I hope everybody's also doing well at home. I mean, sure, listen, if you have any questions about the school, again, anything about me, I used to do graffiti and photography before I even touched the 3D program. So if you're curious about the school, the process of how I got in and whatnot, do let me know. All questions should be answered. Yeah, now we have here, we got some 3D plans. So you can see here we got 3D plans, and now let's neatly, nice and tightly, just like added our stuff in there. And yeah, it is great. You can see when one of it out, you can see as it's standing right here. It's a fine little tree here. Not tree, but a little bit of a plant. And could you imagine if I had to just go and hand place these one at a time? Now I'm about to blow your mind. The same place that we did the selection mode, there's something called foliage. Oh, he has already added all this stuff. Thank you so much. But you really should. I'm gonna have to start from the start, so let's do that. You can see that it's now saying drop foliage here. So now you could go in and you could highlight, and by pressing multiple, instead of like, you know, having to drop it one by one, you can then press the first one and the fourth one while holding down shift, and it's gonna mark those 4. Now we can take all these and we can drop the foliage in. We can go to the other place and we're gonna take that one and we're gonna mark all these and we're gonna add them in there. Let's go to the other one and we can take those and we can take these and we can also add these in here. And now we have I would say a healthy amount of assets. And now I'm just gonna make sure that my notes are correct because I want to be yeah, we really need to be careful when we're doing these paint densities. I would say start by doing 0.01 to see how it works, but you can still like go a little bit big on the brush. Now, here's the magic. It's might gonna take a short minute where it's just gonna be like think, but now you can see I am just painting away. Give it a little bit of a while because it is quite dense. Now again, I had to warn you that, you know, the density is kind of huge, so keep your incrementals to somewhat a little bit of a low one. You can see here that now it's just like slowly adding these onto. But yeah, I mean, this is basically how you do. So should you also want to do a massive graveyard, you could just add the tombstones to your foliage painter and just have at it if you didn't mind to. You can also go in and create these different you can do where it like varies in sizes and whatnot, but do keep in mind when you're doing a little bit of a dense, it is now spawned 1.2 thousand assets across the board, and I believe that's going to be a little bit too much and can be quite tanky. So I'm going to keep this to 0.01, and yeah, now I can just like go and go absolutely crazy and just have at it. Now, if you run into this type of encounter where this is happening, that means that your hill is too steep and will and cannot be applied because it is just not matching up with the assets. But from a distance, I can now just go in and just. I know this is a very fast one, but this is basically just to show you. Mine is not painting. Can't find the brush. Might be because of this. So when you go into foliage mode, I'm just gonna go back from selection. What could have happened is that when you go into selection mode and you do foliage, you have all of these up here. What you need to do is that you need to find the paint one here. There's also what is called select, so I believe that is you can go in and you can like, I'm gonna select this one, and you can do single, and then I can go in and just be like, I want one there, and I want one there, and I want one there. That's gonna take forever. That's not. We're not gonna manage to finish the entire bootcamp if we had to single-handedly just place all of these by hand. Now, here's also a cool thing that you could do. So if you're not really happy about just like, let's say, like if you want to make a certain path, you could do what is called remove. Oh, hold on. Wait. I'm doing something wrong here. Erase tool, I'm sorry. You can then mark everything down that you want to. And if I then want to, let's say, make a small path, I'm just going to hold it in. And now I'm just removing from the area where I do not want my landscape to be. So should you ever want to make a road or wanna mark it before paint, Jonathan, that is an excellent point. I'm terribly sorry that I didn't if I didn't clear that not enough. But now we can see we have successfully now added the foliage and whatnot. Now I'm gonna close down this project because Unreal Engine is not being that nice to me. I'm just gonna press save, and I'm gonna show you from a previous bootcamp what you can do when you are slowly adding on to when you have access to my actual library and Unreal is not being crazy. So I'm gonna launch 5.3.2. You're awesome. I'm just slower. Jonathan, hey, listen, buddy. We all gotta start at some place. I mean, if you saw how I started out with Unreal Engine back when we were first introduced to it, it was a mess. So I'm gonna take this one here and quickly show you the way of how it should look. Hoping I'm not being nuked by damn Unreal Engine. Ah, yes. Oh, this is actually also a good time also to show you a cool little trick what to do. So when you, let's say sometime tonight, you're done with your scene. You want to go to bed, or you want to play video games, or you want to see the latest episode of Fallout. Seen all that, good show. And let's say you want to build on it the next day. Unreal will always open the default scene no matter what. So, and you might be thinking, where the hell is my scene? Do you remember when we did the sequence? That's the one right there. Normally it would just open your, where you could go to it, and then when you press on it, it should get me right back into the game. Oh, and then you need to prepare some shaders and whatnot. But this is like your way, so you can just, and let's say you want to do an environment scene, or you want to do something like that. I would say try and keep them separated, but this is like the way that, you know, Unreal Engine has built their index and whatnot. So, and yes, Unreal can be a little bit slow. Now I can tell you a little bit about Unreal Engine itself and why it is quite a cool thing to use. See, here's the thing. What Unreal can offer is real-time rendering. Usually when you play with Blender or with Maya or something like that, they usually have a little bit of time where they need to just prepare the render engine and then render them out. I believe that the render engine that Unreal Engine is using is called Vignette, and that is the reason why that you can go in here and you can just and you can basically see on the fly the changes that you're making. That is also very great for when you want to do lighting, for example. That is a really great way of getting instant feedback to see how you're lighting your scene and whatnot. And good lord, are you just a little bit slow today? Loading for a scene. I do have to warn you that it can take some time. No, yes, remember my choice. Unreal is being a little bit of a silly goose today. If that's the case, I might just gonna kill it one more time. Where's the message log? Is it really that? No. Alright. Good old Unreal Engine. I hope at least your Unreal Engine at home is at least being a little bit more cooperative with you instead of mine, because mine is just stuck in a boat loop. Does CADA have anything online education? I can't get to Copenhagen. Reroute your life, that is an excellent question. I know as of right now on our website, I'm just gonna quickly show you the website, CADA. I believe, can I just do CADA.dk? This is your friend right here. I'm just gonna go to English so everybody can follow along. There is, of course, this 3D bootcamp that you will be attending. Those are free. Those are available every single Wednesday, where we'll go over the principles of 3D. We do have, as well, 3D animation essentials that you can do if animation really is cool, something that is interesting you. And I know that something is in the works of a more in-depth online essential course where the more is like a course where you'll take it in your, but that is online. But I don't know that much about it, so I can't tell you that much more. But Bootcamp is your friend. You can always attend because we're doing different challenges every single Wednesday. So yeah, loads of cool stuff. Aye! We got it! Bam! Boom, bam, 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 bam. And here we go. So this was with me using, there was something called Megascan trees, and I believe those are called European Beach. European Beach with two E's. Two E's. Don't flag me, YouTube. I'm trying to be nice. But yeah, that's the way. What is online? Online is awesome, same here. So the next month's bootcamp is same or different stuff. Well, we're still gonna do the same principles, which is then sculpting, then it's gonna be modeling, texturing, and then level designs. But we're still gonna switch it up. Then we're just gonna start next week. We're gonna do some sculpting. Usually, like it's a like animal of some sort that is being mixed with a dragon. So we've done like aquatic. We've done like some more reptilian kind of looking. It really just like changes. So you can just like tune in and just say to yourself, hey, listen, every Wednesday at 5:30, CADA is running off with Bootcamp. So you can definitely just tune in. And also we're doing these as video on demands. So we're doing, so whenever these streams are done, they will be available for you to rewatch again and again and again here on YouTube, should you have need to refresh anything, or you can just partake next time that we're doing it. But keep an eye out on our website, and you can sign up, and then you'll get some newsletters. So yes, this is like what you could say the last week of this boot camp, but then already next Wednesday we're kicking off again, and we're starting over again. Changing career. That's awesome. Thanks. I'm changing career at 46, so this is so helpful and fun. Reroute. That is absolutely fantastic, and I absolutely wish you best on your 3D journey. I can tell you a quick thing. I was a little bit late to the party as well. I just turned 30. Before that, I even started my 3D career. I spent my entire 20s just bustling tables as a waiter. I was a barista. I was DJing quite a lot as well. And I thought that myself had devoted myself to the service industry. But I always had a passion for playing video games and drawing, and always found it interesting to how do you create a video game. And also, especially when I was playing, Skyrim or Warcraft, these massive open worlds, I was just thinking just like, whoa, just absolutely, I mean, it was fantastic. And then I just did like a switch. I used to live on Bornholm and used to work in a very, very fancy restaurant. And I just said to myself, I'm gonna change. I would love to try something that is in the creative industry. And if I can learn something, a thing or two, like this, absolutely amazing. So that's why I'm trying to jump ship as well. So reroute your life. Best on to it. But like I said, we all started from somewhere. And when I got here to the school, I applied with my portfolio, and that was with photography and drawing. So you don't have to be a master at 3D, because that what you will be taught here at the school, right? So if this education sounds interesting, I do know that we have some students that are also in the age of 30, 40, and 50 that will apply as well. So best of luck. Reroute July, does Bootcamp carry on over the summer holidays? No, unfortunately not, because we also need to deserve a little bit of a holiday break too. But if you're really craving for a little bit more, you can always go back and watch some of the earlier streams, the video on demand. Those you can go back and watch, and basically just like hit play and just let them have it. That would be my recommendation. But we're already kicking off again in August again, so it's gonna be. We're doing it here in May, and then we're doing June. So July is like the month where you're not gonna see any activity here on the YouTube channel, but at least we're kicking off again in August. I'm just gonna show you guys this scene. That was what we did at the first bootcamp, and now you can see this is taxing, and that is because this is quite dense. You can also see that the trees are moving, and that's some cool things, that some of the assets from the mega scans has been animated so it moves in the winds. And then I found a cool medieval sword that I just added onto the scene, just plot it right in and just change it around and just rotate a little bit. If you're now experiencing, let's say, performance issues, and you're just thinking just like, oh god, my computer can barely hold on to this. There is up here right under selection mode, there's something called lit. if you press this one, there's something called unlit, and that basically just turns off everything within what's it called? Yeah, just like all the rendering process. So that means that it's not being that tanky on your graphics card. You can still see that stuff is moving in here, but it's basically just turning off the lights, and that makes it easier for you to go around. Reroute July, thanks. Good to know that I won't be the only old one. 46 ain't no damn age. That ain't no age. So, but yeah. So now you can see that now you're pretty much, you can see how I just absolutely took the foliage, and I just freaking went with it. I will show you a cool thing as well. I'm just gonna turn on the light again. Hope that it will be kind to me. And I want to find the directional lights. And I hope that this kind soul will be... If I can do this. Yeah. So this is the cool part. So if you go in and choose the directional lighting, you can decide what the hell, what time of the day it should be. You can do high noon. You can go sunset, like as the sun is setting. I do have to warn you, when you press like below the horizon, it turns off because they haven't done a nighttime yet. I believe there are some assets in the Unreal Engine, so as of right now, I urge you to keep the sun over the horizon. That is the way the cookie crumbles. But I really like that kind of a golden hour. I really think like that's some great lighting that you can do here. I do want to cast a little bit of light, but you can go in, and this is where, you know, it really becomes crazy here. If we're just gonna remove my my camera. Out here in the outliner, that's where you're gonna see all the settings that you can do. For example, you can do intensity, so I can also turn down the lights from the sun itself. What is the short key? Gil Frank is asking. What short key are you asking for? Or shortcut key? Is it for changing the lighting? God, you can really just go crazy on this one, huh? Yeah, there is no shortcut. Basically what you want to do is you're going to go out to the outliner, you're going to find what is called directional lights, and you're going to press E as the same as just when we started moving around the, when we started pushing around that tombstone, and then you're just going to take one of the, sides, and then you can start just like instantaneously, just on the fly, change the position of the sun. So sunrise is in the east. You can also just do one full you can really just find whatever is a good angle for you, because this is your world, so you can do exactly what you want in this. And also, should you want to do full on Armageddon and you want to you can go in and change the light. Do be a little bit careful about it, because it can go quite fast. Yeah, you can really go in and do the end of the world should you want to do that. But yeah, if you want to do like, you know, a crazy world, yeah. And now you have that episode from Game of Thrones where they decided to nuke the entire city. You can always just press cancel and Control C until you get back to... Oh, sorry. Yeah, Control C to return to your normal settings. Shrek Swarms kind of vibe. Yeah, Clarissa. Shrek, goddammit. I would say a very toxic Shrek Swamp. Alright, and here in the last 5 minutes, I'm just going to show you a little last thing that I'm going to show you. Two cool things that you can do is that we're going to add a camera and how we can render it out as a little short sequence. Spoilers! How dare you! Oh, I'm sorry, Rolf. I'm sorry. I'm just going to quickly show you a cool way of when you want to should you want to create a camera and you want to maybe render this out at home so you have like a little bit of a scene. First of all, I'm just gonna turn off lighting so we have a little bit of more performance friendly. We're gonna go. I'm kidding with you. So here's the thing. If we want to create a camera, because that's what Unreal wants, it needs to have a camera. Oh, I can actually show you the fast way. If you don't want to have a video, we can do quickly this. You can just do lit. We're gonna find a nice angle. Almost looks like what do you call it? It almost looks like a loading screen to a video game to some extent. So what we're gonna do? Should you just want to get like a screenshot of what we're seeing right here, you're gonna press F11 to go to full screen. Unreal, go to full screen. It's trying its best. I'm sorry. F11. Now we're in full screen, okay? Now we're in full screen. And if you have like some kind of like weird things like all these like landscape and whatnot, you're gonna press G to hide all that. And then you're gonna press F9 to capture a screenshot here. And that's gonna show you down here that it has now captured something. And yeah, I'm just gonna get out of this real quick. Oh yeah, F11 is not called full screen, it's called immersive. So F11 to get out of it again. And we're just gonna go that back here. And now I can see that in my folder. Da 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 da! I now have a screenshot of the scene. And that you can use as well. We still have 4 minutes left, so I'm just gonna quickly show you how to do the whole camera thingy. It's a little bit more technical, so you might want to rewatch this last end should you ever want to. But what you basically want is that we're gonna go say quickly add to the project. You're gonna find underneath shapes, cinematic, and you want to add what is called a cine camera actor. And now this is gonna show you what it's seeing down here in the left. It's basically just like a viewfinder of itself. I want to rotate that around so it can see what it's seeing itself. And oh. And I believe, wow, you're really not that happy, huh? We're just gonna add it a little bit closer because we like when things are looking good. And I believe that is looking mighty fine. You can also do one thing if you really want to take full control. Instead of like working from outside, you can do what is called pilot cine camera actor. And that's basically just showing you what the camera is seeing. Now do be careful when you're moving around here. You need to remember that the camera will move to that place. So a lot of people have a tendency to work inside from the cine actor camera. And if they haven't, and if they've just like found the perfect snapshot, it can be a little bit unfortunate that that you've been spending all that time and then you lost it. Wow. Okay, and now we're doing ads. Sorry for that. It's the music in the background. Now, let's say that I'm happy now with the Sorry, I'm just gonna turn on the music again here. And now let's say that you're now happy with the placement of the camera. We're gonna do the eject. That looks like a little bit like that. Stop piloting the actor. Whoop. And now we can see. And also one thing that I would recommend, because the camera has a tendency to be kind of small, I would say just go in, take that scale and just increase the size of it. Oh. If it wants to show. Yeah, there we go. That might be a little bit too big, but you know, it's quite nice to know where exactly your camera is. That's kind of gonna help you out. It's almost like a film set, if you could say that. And if I'm now happy with this camera, what I would then do, I would go up here to this little, I think it's called a clapper, I think, from the movie industry. I'm gonna add a level, and we're just gonna do sort render scene 01, just to make sure everything goes by the book. Bam. And this is now the outliner, and then you need to add a few things. So we want to find the Cine Actor camera. We want to add that into this the sequencer is what it's called. And you need to see that little blue line. You add onto it. Oh, did not work. Let's try that one more time. Bam! Here we go. And now it's basically just showing you what it now will render. You can see down here that it's just going as smooth as the wind. You can actually also go in here. You can change the aperture, the focal length. You can do a lot of things. You also do transform. That I cannot. We're out of time because now it's 7 o'clock. But you can definitely go in and you can kind of do these cool, like, you know, dolly move and whatnot. So let's say that I am now a happy director and I want this to be rendered out. I then will go down here to render this movie to a video or image frame sequence. I would like to have it as an AVI. There's no audio. I will do full HD. You can also do compression should you want to do that. And there is an output directory. And when you're happy, you just press capture movie, save selected, just to make sure. And now it's gonna do its thing over here where it's now capturing. And there we go. And I think it's roughly around those 10 seconds clips it's gonna do. You can always extend it by a certain amount of frames. You can just like keep on going should you be, but it should now down here just saying capturing video. And yeah, and now we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. It does take a little bit of time because if it's a heavy scene or you're doing like maybe a little bit higher than 4K and whatnot, it can be a little bit taxing to that extent. So yeah, just give it a minute. And yeah, and it's basically also going to show you when the video has been captured, when it's finished. So just as you saw before with the screenshot where it said like we just took a photo, here you can find it. I'm just gonna quickly show you. I hope that it will capture a little bit before, else I'll go over a few minutes. I hope that is okay. So yeah, now we're just waiting. So I think I will kind of ask you kindly too. Do remember we have a Discord, CADA, where, you know, all of you lovely people, the viewers of the Bootcamp, and can hang out in the Bootcamp channel, where you can show off some of your cool Unreal Engine projects or all your assets. There's also access from the teachers and the students. So, I'm just gonna quickly show you. Bam! Now it shows captured finish. And we're now gonna open this. Just gonna minimize this for a hot minute. And now we should have. How about that, huh? How about that? And there you have yourself. You can see it is a little bit grainy, but that's because of the compression. It's basically just to go fast. So you can just go full on with the compression. You might want to amp up the resolution, but it should just save it. So when you go to your PC, you should have something called Documents. You should have something called Unreal Projects. You're then gonna find your. You're gonna find the project that you're working on, and then there should be something called Saved. And there should be something called video capture. So that's where you're gonna find your file path. Yeah, job's done. And that's it, folks. One thing, just like on the way out, as I just said before, please go in and join our our Discord and join in the Bootcamp channel. Like I said, students of the school is also attending in there. So if you're sharing some stuff in there, they might give you a little bit of critique and stuff like that. Our teachers is also in there, and it's just a great community of all within 3D. Memes are being sent in there. Cool projects is being also, and job opportunities, whatnot, from outside in the industry. It's a great little platform. So, work. So I'll give myself the liberty of sharing our Discord invite. And go in there and just say hi. My name in there is CJ, and I think I'm the one, and I'm moderating the server as well. So go in and say hi. I will say hi back to you. But with that concludes our Unreal level design bootcamp for this time around. Should you want to, I would love to see some of the scenes that you've been working on, but you don't have to do it right now. We can look at it next week, or else I'll be lurking in there and look at all the cool stuff that you've been making. But yeah, spend the weekend, just like mess around with Quixel, have fun, find some cool free assets, set up a camera and render, and should something have been missed out or something like that, remember, it becomes available as a video on demand, this live stream, in a few short minutes after YouTube is done processing it. But with that, I will wish you all a lovely evening and a lovely day to the Floridan viewers, and wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and good night where you are in the world. I hope you learned a thing or two from today. My name is Christian once again, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on board. So with that, I'm gonna check out.